All right, so welcome to your third learning session of basics. You know, which is good. So many of you live still. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that I always look for a group like this where the people are showing up live in week 3. That tells me good things about you guys. Honestly, I've been doing this for a long time, for 7 years, right? And so, and some months I'll start with 20 people and I'll have 2 people at the end, and quite honestly, I always think this, like, it shows you guys your commitment to this as far as like you're eager to learn. And that's the first step to doing anything in this, is just kind of getting a grasp on what your plan is so you can go out and do that thing. You know what I mean? And you always learn more when you're just on the calls live. And there's times when I plug into like the national call live, but a lot of times I'll listen to the recording too. I realize that not every time we have a meeting, it's going to fit perfectly into everybody's schedule. That's why we do provide a recording. But anytime you do get the opportunity to be, on a meeting live and participate that way, that's great. So here we are, man. It's March 17th. This is the 3rd week, right? So, I mean, we've talked a lot about challenge groups. We've talked about, the power of 3 and inviting people and following up with people. Last week, we got into more of like the interpersonal skills, right? Where at the end of the day, it's like this, okay, this is a people business, right? It's a people business. There's really 2 ways that you can find people. Basically, one is face-to-face and learning how to make friends face-to-face. And I do a lot of face-to-face stuff. I was at the car wash the other day, and they were I paid the guys, they took my car through and they hand washed it and all that stuff. So it took like 20 minutes. Well, another guy was getting his car washed and he saw my Jeep and we started conversing about the Jeep. All right. And we just talked about our cars for 20 minutes. And at the end of it, I was like, well, hey man, are you on Facebook, man? I'd love to stay connected to you, and that was it. Never talked about Beachbody, never talked about, I think that's the biggest difference between like an amateurs. I would have taken that opportunity to say, oh my gosh, yes, I'm the poster boy for P90X and I'm this and I'm that, right? Like that dude has no idea that I have anything to do with Beachbody, but he's on my Facebook. Does that make sense? So we have, we have face-to-face and then we have social media. And obviously now social media has completely changed the game for how you can find people, connect with people, market to people, build relationships with people, and all that thing. So I want you to understand. So for me and my plan, everything I do is to get people onto my Facebook page. Facebook is my store. Does that make sense? Like that's where, so if I'm talking to you face to face, or if I meet you at the school, or if I'm coaching your kid, right, in football, well, whatever, think about the things that you do in life and where you meet people, versus trying to sell them on Beachbody in that conversation. I just get them on my Facebook. And Facebook becomes where I talk about that stuff partially, where we can extend the relationship past that, okay? And so it's important, because right now Facebook is the big thing, especially for our age group. The younger kids are, I coach high school football, so I'm in tune with this younger generation. The kids that are like, 14 through 23-ish, okay, they're more on Twitter and Instagram. Okay, so what you're going to find is that 25 and over crowd, 25 really up to like 75 now, probably 70 years old, that market, that 50-year market, all those people are hanging out on Facebook. That's a cool place to be, okay? And so Facebook is it's a biggie. But like you guys, when I started this, I'm a high school football coach, right? So I didn't know crap about social media. I didn't know anything about that. And I had to learn a few things along the way. I want to predecess this discussion on social media with the fact that, listen, I'm not an expert. I'm probably not the guy that's going to teach you everything that you're going to have to learn about social media. I'm going to give you the basics I'm going to give you the basic formats and sort of give you some basic direction on it so that you can figure it out. But social media is a very powerful way for you to find people, connect with people, and build your business. There are coaches in this network who have built $500,000 incomes all through Facebook, which is amazing when you think about that. Facebook's been a big part of my business. Obviously, we do a lot on Facebook, right? We do our groups on Facebook. That's where we use to connect with you guys. And so it's important that we understand some things about Facebook, though, because it's one thing for you to feel like you're doing stuff on Facebook and not getting anywhere. And that will get frustrating, right? How many of you, like you don't want to be like trying to do the stuff on Facebook, but you're not getting anywhere with it. And you feel like nobody's listening. And then all of a sudden you get bogged down with, well, nobody cares and nobody, right? And nobody wants it. And nobody likes me. Everybody, nobody replies. Okay. So what I want to do is kind of give you some tips, pointers, things that I've learned along the way that will help you get better on Facebook with this. Understand first this: Facebook is your storefront. If you were going to start a traditional business, right? If you were going to start a traditional business, you would want to be advertising. You would have logos on your storefront, or whatever, right? That says this is who we are, right? And you would want to brand yourself on Facebook. So your page really is your storefront. That's not to say it, but what we have to understand is this: the product of your storefront is not the company. It is not Shakeology. It is not the Beachbody Challenge. It's not the 21-day fix. The product of your storefront is you. That's what people are buying. I want you to understand this, that people do business with people they trust and look up to and connect with. That's who they do business with. They can get Beachbody stuff anywhere. Okay. The only thing that differentiates so understand this: 21-day fix is the same for you as it is for my wife. Shakeology is the same for you as it is for me, right? Shakeology is constant. So why is it that some coaches have greater success than other coaches when it comes to finding people? And here's why: because people buy into you and who you are and what your story is and what your beliefs are and what you do for others. Okay. So really what we have to understand is, we got to first of all set our page up to make people trust you more, I guess is the way I would put it. Right. So my point is this: your Facebook profile picture should be a picture of you, preferably smiling, right? Everyone, I want you guys all to do this. See this right there? Everybody practice. We're practicing the smile, right? Everybody, even if you're on a phone and I can't see you, you better be smiling into the microphone, right? Smile. That's true. I want you guys to understand that 90% of how we communicate is body language, right? It is. It's not the words we say. It's how we say it in the language of our body. Just by adding a smile to you, a smile suggests that you're open, you're trustable, you're friendly. Does that make sense? Okay. So your profile picture, it shouldn't be of a large group of people. I clicked on, there was one girl, she was a coach, and she friend requested me, and she's not on our team. And so I went to her page, and I forget her name, but the first thing I did was what? The first thing I did was I clicked on her profile picture and I scrolled through like the first 4 or 5 or 6 of her profile pictures. How many of you do that? Somebody friends you, and the first thing you do is go check them out. And what are you doing when you do that? What right? You're measuring them. You're seeing what they're about. You're making a judgment on them before you read anything on their page, before you do anything else. Okay? So your profile picture should speak to who you are in a positive light. So everybody understand that, okay? All right, so if your profile picture is a green leprechaun because it's St. Patrick's Day, they're going to go, what the hell? This person, all they care about is partying. So if you want to be known as somebody who, if your profile picture is I got a bunch of women, so this is, if it was a bunch of guys, it'd be like, if it was, like you in your Steelers jersey flipping the bird, if you were a guy, that might be the case. Some of these guys, I'm like, dude, come on, man. All right, so, but understand something. So you got to think about how people behave when they come to your page and what they're looking at, and they're making decisions based on these things. How many of you make a decision? Listen, I get literally, I don't know, 30 friend requests a day from people I don't even know, just because of this network. It's crazy because I don't know these people, right? They're not on my team, but they see a video of me or something like that, right? So I got to check them out. That's the first thing you do, check them out. So don't you want to be set up in a way that when people check you out, so here's the thing. Do you want to be known for fitness as a fitness enthusiast? Now, I'm not saying that's everybody needs to do that. I certainly don't do that. I will be perfectly honest with you, okay? My passion is not fitness. That's the truth. Okay. Like I don't like live and breathe to go work out every day. Okay. Like I work out because it makes me feel good. But my passion is people. My passion is my family. Right. Does that make sense? That's what I'm passionate about. My passion is coaching football. Like I'm passionate about working with people and mentoring people and guiding people. I do want to, and I'm passionate about being an advocate for healthy living. Right? That's what I'm passionate about. So you got to determine, what are you passionate about and what image do you want to promote to people of who you are? Are you a family person? Right? Are you someone of faith and God is a big part of your life? I can't tell you who that is, right? Or what you are, but you have to make that determination. But you are the brand. And that's the first thing that we have to come to understand. So they're going to scroll through your profile pictures. So I would, so you'll see a lot of the top coaches, they have like these professional looking photos. Some of them, and if I were you guys, one of the best things that you can do, especially you ladies, is go look at the top 20 board in the network, okay? The top 20 coaches, and start following them on their social media and see how they're set up and see how they promote and see what they say. Does that make sense? Because chances are you're going to relate more to what they have to say than what I have to say. I'm a friggin' male football coach, So go check them out. What do their profile pictures look like? What do their cover photos look like? That's the thing. So many of them will have cover photos that show all sides of them, who they are as a whole person. They'll have one picture with their family. They'll have one picture of them doing fitness stuff. They'll have another of them like in their business outfit because they're an entrepreneur and they're a CEO of a business, and then they'll have some kind of a motivational quote. You know what I'm saying? Some of them will have a picture of, whatever. So, but go check that out. So that's, they're branding themselves. They're trying to show their Facebook following who they are as an entire person. We're going to get into that in a little bit, where we don't want Beachbody to be 100% of who you are. So that's the first thing I would consider. Setting up your storefront in such a way that it promotes who you are and why people should trust you. And that includes your profile pictures. It includes removing any profile pictures because they're going to go through a bunch of them. If you got crappy profile pictures that you're never going to use again and you're like, I don't know why that was ever my profile picture, just delete it, remove it, put it in a different file or something, okay? Because they're going to go through, I don't know, I usually go through like the first 4 or 5, does that make sense? And then if I decide that I like them, I go through the next 3 or 4 and I keep looking and I keep, right? How many of you do that? Seriously, be honest. Am I the only one? I'm the only one that does this? I can't be the only one that does this, right? Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we have to understand is something called affinity. Write this down. Affinity. AFFINITY. This is a very important thing to understand. All right. That when you, how many of you like have like a Facebook app on your phone or do you use your laptop or whatever? But when you log into Facebook and you go to the news feed, right? That news feed is top news. It's not the most recent news. It's not like in the order of your friends and when they posted it. Some of the stuff in there was posted 2 days ago and it's still in your news feed, right? Everybody understand that, okay? So it's considered top news. Beachbody has a ranking system of how they rank people's posts and what they put onto other people's pages, okay? So this is why you will tend to see the same people's posts in your Facebook page, in your newsfeed a lot. I've started hiding some people from that, right? I can click on it on my app and say, don't show me this, and then say, show me less of this person. Let's say it's another coach and I don't really not that I don't like them, but I'm not trying to see other coaches. I'm trying to see other people who aren't yet in Beachbody so I can connect with them. So if I got a bunch of coaches hiding, the news feed and taking up the news feed, I try to weed them out, right? Affinity is the score. So it's basically like a scale of 0 to 100. So when you make a post, your page and your post has a score. They score it like 0 to 100, with 100 being the highest, all right? So the closer you get to 100 score on a post or on your page, the more likely your stuff is to show up in the news feeds of other people. All right. This is kind of a two-way street here. Let me just explain how they measure affinity. They measure it by the amount of activity that you have on that post and on your page. So the more likes you have on the post and the more comments you have on the post, the more likely that post is to show up in people's news feeds. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why we want to post a wide variety of things, not just Beachbody stuff, right? It's like one of those things. And if you go follow some people, what you'll notice is the coaches who are getting traction, they don't just like throw up a picture of 21 Day Fix and say, buy my crap. They just don't do that. Because they might get 2 likes and it's like their 2 best friends that just feel sorry for them and wants, or you know what I'm saying? It's like the 2 people that are already doing Beachbody with them and nobody else is liking it. Nobody else is commenting on it. All right. But you can attract more likes by talking about more things. So write this down, 80-20. 80-20. All right. If this is the best advice I can give you is this. I would pick 4 or 5 things that you want to talk about on a consistent basis. All right. That you want to post about. It could be your family. It could be faith. It could be motivation. It could be health and nutrition tips. It could, like maybe you want to post healthy recipes. It could be funny stuff, right? Like I've actually considered now, because what I've noticed is that a lot of the people that I actually want to recruit, when I post something funny, they love it and they like it. And it gets them engaged with me, and it makes them have something, what we call a Me Too moment. Write that down. You're looking for Me Too moments with people. Me too. Hey, I thought that was funny. Hey, so did I. Now we're friends. You guys get that? Because when they look at that, then they go, oh man, that Tommy, he's a cool guy. He's got a sense of humor. That makes them more open then to trusting me if and when Beachbody comes up. Because it's not just all Beachbody. What you want to avoid is being 100% about Beachbody all the time. Because what you'll do is you shut the rest of the world out. You actually want to be about more than Beachbody. Be about your kids. My wife Ashley is really into beauty. She's an esthetician, okay? She grew up with very low self-esteem. As beautiful as she is, she had low self-esteem as a kid, in many ways, because she had 2 heart conditions, and their family moved when she was like in her early teens, and she didn't have a lot of friends and all that stuff. And so she really got into beauty, and that helped her feel better about herself, and then she became an esthetician. She's really about skincare and beauty and all that stuff. So she talks about beauty. She talks about mom tips. And it's not always like her giving advice. Sometimes it's her seeking advice. She'll say, hey, moms, what would you do? Hey, we're now got to get a vehicle for 3 car seats. What do you recommend? We jump from 1 car seat to 3 in the next 10 months. Some of you are like, what's he talking about? We're having twins. My wife, I found out. Yeah, I said it on the team call last night. So some of you were on there. Twins, holy crap. So I think I'm going to talk about twins now, probably, right? That's a whole world of its own, twins. I could grow a huge Beachbody team just based on parents with twins and twins themselves. Seriously, I'm just going to market the twins. I'm going to have a team full of twins. We'll have like identical versus fraternal challenges, like all of that kind of stuff, right? But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I mean, think about that. Like that's a whole network of people. Twins. I mean, they have events just for moms of twins and twins. You go to Twinsburg, Ohio, they have an event every year, and there's thousands and thousands of people that go to that thing, right? So that's a network of people that I could just market to. So if I start talking about twins on my page and I attract people that are twins, I could possibly pull them out of the twin world and into the Beachbody world. You guys understand that? But she talks about beauty stuff on her. She talks about mom stuff, beauty stuff, and then she talks about fitness stuff, all right? But 80-20 is a good rule. About 1/4 of your stuff can be Beachbody related. Okay? And about 75% of it should be other stuff. Who are you outside of just Beachbody? Okay? And how do you want other people to see you? But 80-20. Which goes into really you understanding. I want you to write this down. Like, this is something that I would do if I was you. I would really think about who you want to target market to. Write this down, target market. Okay? And I didn't have this on my notes, but it's something I should talk about anyway. So target market, which is this, and that's really what I'm saying is, me suggesting target marketing to twins means this. I'm going to go and I'm going to find twin groups on Facebook, right? I'm going to go and I'm going to add friends from that I make in the twin world. I'm going to get them on my Facebook. I'm going to make part of what I talk about on there being a parent of twins and the do's and don'ts of twinnage, so it's going to become part of who I am. I'm going to be a parent of twins. And so I'm going to pull people from that world onto my Facebook. Does that make sense? Right? But I'm going to talk about that. And then part of what when I do promote Beachbody, I'm going to say, listen, I know it's crazy when you're a parent of twins, like you have zero time because you're changing 2 sets of diapers and you got double trouble, right? All the time, which is why I love doing T25 because it's only 25 minutes. And quite honestly, the twins love doing it with me. You see what I'm saying? So when I talk about Beachbody, I could talk in a language of twins. That's a target market, okay? So if I were you, I would pick, I got to tell you, so forever and a day, since I started in this company, I started as a morbidly obese person, human being, right? And I struggled with weight for 20 years of my life. I lost weight. And so my biggest target market was weight loss, the weight loss market, obesity, right? That's what I targeted. Now, some of you might relate to that. Some of you are like, I don't even understand what that's about. If you've always been skinny and fit, maybe you don't understand that. And so that's probably not your target market. For me, it was, okay? So I really targeted 2 things. I targeted weight loss and I targeted local people. I had a very strong connection. I had lived my entire life in the same local area, had many relationships in that local area, had built trust, built respect in that local area. And so I built a team of local people. Maybe you have that, maybe you don't. I'm not saying that your target markets have to be the same as mine, okay? But moms would be a big target market, right? There are women in this network that have built an entire team of just moms. Like you go look at their team and it looks like cookie cutter. Like they're all the same friggin' person. They're all in their 30s with 2 young kids. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, but their whole team looks like that because they target market that and they go find other moms on Facebook. They go join mom groups. They join local mom clubs, blah, 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 right? So they just recruit other moms. Why? They know what it's like to be a mom of young kids. They can speak that language. They know the problems those people face. They know the time issues. They know the struggle with nutrition. They know the struggle with the baby belly. They know all of that stuff, okay? And so they can really speak that language. And if they become proof the product works, right, they actually create something on the fitness side over here. They say, yeah, this is what worked for me. I just followed this 21-day fix thing and drink my shake and love it, and now I'm making extra money. As a mom, at home, I can make extra money while my husband's working, and now we're not struggling to pay bills. Now they can really talk the language of that. So you have to decide. Tara Carr's somebody. Her 2 target markets were moms and military spouses. She was a military wife. So her whole team is moms or military people. That's it. And so how she targeted that was, she went to Facebook, she started joining military pages. She had local military stuff going on. She connected with people from that world. And then she talked about how Beachbody helped her as that person from that role. Okay. But you definitely want to grow your friend list, right? So that's what this is all going to come together. I've kind of jumped around in my notes. So if I get confusing and you want to stop me and ask a question, feel free. Just put it in the chat or raise your hand or unmute yourself, okay? I want you to ask whatever you need to. But I want to make sure we get through everything. So you definitely want to grow your friend list. When we do the power of 3, right, and the power hour, that's what we talk about. Doing a power hour where you have 1 hour of focused time every day to do the things that you have to do to grow your list of people, okay? In that power hour, it talks about adding 3 friends a day, okay? My suggestion is that you don't just randomly add 3 people, that you go add people from your target market. So if your target market is moms, go find 3 moms to add to your Facebook page, okay? If your target market is weight loss, go find 3 people that struggle with weight and add them to your page. If your target market is local, go find 3 people from your local community, local area, and add them to your page. If your target market is 50 and over, no sense in adding the college kids because you're not going to be talking about them on your page. You guys understand that, right? Go add 3 people from the 50 and over crowd. But you want to build more people. Understand, more people on your page equals more interaction on your page equals higher affinity rating equals your stuff getting seen. Does that make sense to you guys? Or did I go too fast to that, right? So you want to add people from that target market. Because here's the thing, I want you to understand that if you had a traditional store, and right now you're sitting there with 300 friends, that means there's only 300 people getting the potential news of you and what you're doing in your business. If you had a storefront and you were paying rent, if you were paying $1,600 a month to lease a storefront, a traditional business, would 300 people be enough for you to pay the bills? Because that's not 300 buyers, that's 300 potential buyers. And at a 1% success rate, that's 3 people a month, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So if you owned a store, wouldn't you want your store to be where there were more people going by it? Right? In business, it's this: location is everything, right? Isn't that, and why? People see it, people go by it, it's easy to get to, all of those things, okay? Well, on the social media world, your storefront is your page. You want to have as much traffic on that page as you can. So it requires you to then go find people and add people to it. So if you have 3,000 people versus 300, what's the chance that you'll get more people that month? It's 10 times greater, right? If I got 3,000 people versus 300 friends, I got 3,000, right? The same post is going to get 10 times, actually more than 10 times. Here's why. Your affinity will be high, so a higher percentage of those people will actually even see it. It could be 20 or 30 times greater chance of success. How many of you want to improve your chance of success in helping people, right? And of getting paid for that. So add more people to your Facebook page. We had a girl that she just went and she added like 500 friends in like a week. She just kept adding friends. Now here's the thing on Facebook though. You add too many friends, eventually they're going to throw you in what we call Facebook jail. Write that down. Facebook has a jail, and when you break the Facebook law, they throw you in Facebook jail, which means, bad girl, you can't add friends for the next 20 days. Okay, well, you just got 300, 400, 500 more people that you can work with for the next 30 days anyway. Who cares, right? You see what I'm saying? So this is growing your list of people. I suggest that you grow it from your target market. And then what I suggest that you do is you craft the things that you talk about to speak to those markets. So if I once I have my target market, once I have, let's say I'm just going to use moms as that example. I don't care, right? Okay. Now, when I talk about, let's say I pick 4 or 5 things that I want to talk about, which are going to reflect who I am and are going to reflect who I want to attract, who I want to market to me, okay? I'm going to probably, I'll do mom tips. I'll have mommy circle time, right? Hey, let's have mommy circle time. Maybe that would be great. You could just call it that. I just gave you an idea. Mommy circle time. Hey, mommies, let's circle up. How's everything going this week? Let's talk about our kids. And you just have your little chit chat social hour coffee time right there on your Facebook page with moms, right? Think about how many comments you would get if you do that. And what do more comments do for you? It raises your score. And what does having a higher score do for you? It makes sure that more people see your stuff. Because here's the thing. Now, when you post about mom, anyone who has an interest in, so Facebook has an identifier of all the people in your friend list that say, who might like to hear about mommy stuff? And now that post is in their newsfeed because that's the double whammy. Does that make sense? If you just post about workouts, Facebook goes, who in your newsfeed wants to see about workouts? Well, there's a bunch of moms on your page that might not qualify for the workout category. So they don't see that one. Does that make sense? But they will see it because here's the other thing. Facebook also says Oh, you've recently talked to this person. This person's recently commented on your stuff. You've recently privately messaged them. Okay, here's the thing. Bridget Fitzgerald and I privately messaged about this raw honey stuff the other day. All of a sudden, her stuff is in my newsfeed. Had nothing to do with Beachbody. It was raw freaking honey. Right? She was having allergies. I said, use some raw honey. She went and got some. We had a little private chit chat about it. Bam, her stuff's in my newsfeed. Ding, ding, ding. Power of 3 says this: privately message 3 people a day. You might think that's a waste of time, but what you don't understand, you got to understand the coaches that put this together have been around for a while and were pretty freaking smart. And the ones that follow it get results. And here's why. Because if you privately message Joanne from the other neighborhood and you talk about your kids, no matter what you post, it's going to show up in Joanne's newsfeed, because they're going to say, oh, they actually like each other. They're actually friends. They've had a recent connection. You guys understand that? So your affinity goes up to that person. But what I would do is this. I would be building a friend list of people that fit the profile of what you're looking for. Write this down. It's hard to hit a target that you can't see. So if you haven't identified the target, how are you going to hit it? That's why a lot of us are throwing up zeros right now, and that's fine. I'm trying to help you get better at this. We're throwing up zeros because we don't know who we're talking to. We're just talking. We're not talking to a specific audience that can relate to us and that will connect with us. So once we identify the audience and go build that audience of people that fit the profile, go find people that fit the profile. If you were going to build a team of people, if you were going to help people or build a team of people, what would they look like? Who would they be? Go find them and talk directly to them. That's who you're marketing to. You're finding your niche. You're finding your target. Okay? And who you get is going to look totally different than who Tommy Migrant gets. Totally different. Okay? And then what I would do is, once I have that, I would craft my social media plan. What I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, who I'm going to connect with, to fit that profile, right? So I'm going to have mommy tips. I'm going to have, hey, quick, 15-minute meal tips. Right? Here's some 15-minute meal tips. Throw some healthy chocolate chip cookies in there. They'll love it. You want to get a bunch of likes? Do that. You guys understand that? And then this is something called jab, jab, hook. Write this down. Jab, jab, hook. Jab, jab, hook. So I want you guys, hopefully you guys get a feel for what we're trying to say here. All right? So the whole time you're jabbing, right? You're talking about, I use moms because most of you are women and many of you are moms. So it's a broad market, right? So, but it could be anything. It could be anything. All right. It could be church. It doesn't matter. All right. But the whole time I'm doing jab, 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 hook. I'm not trying to recruit them with every post. I'm not trying to promote with every post. What I'm trying to do is build trust, build connection, build trust, build connection, build trust, build connection. Then I go for the hook. Then I go to promote. And I throw the hook punch, right? It's just like a fighter in a ring, right? Jab, jab, jab. They're setting them up, setting them up, setting them up, setting them up. You can set up your Facebook audience by setting them up, setting them up, setting them up by, hey, I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to connect with them on this. I'm going to connect with them on that. I would make fitness part of what I talk about, like something fitness and health, whether that's a healthy tip or, workout move of the day or, mommy workout move. Do a workout move, holding your baby. Take a picture of it. You know how many friggin' people would like that? Okay? Does that make sense? But the hook message is when now I'm going to promote, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to rattle the tree and shake some of them loose and get prospects from them. Does that make sense? Okay? Here, part of the reason that new coaches struggle, and even some older coaches struggle, is this. The most successful coaches follow a plan when they make a promotional post. It's not just buy my crap. It's not just a picture of the workout. they're saying something and speaking directly to a specific people. All right. So when you make a promotional post is one that is designed to rattle loose prospects and take them from just being friends on your page to prospects that you're potentially working with. Okay. So I'm going to give you a 4-step easy guide to money-making promotional posting. I just came up with that term. But 4 easy steps. This is basically presenting 101. What I'm going to do is I don't have time to teach you presenting. Okay? I know way more than what I need to know, to be honest with you. But presenting, I'm going to show you how to present promotionally to your target market. The first thing you do when you present is, number 1 is this: identify the audience. Who am I speaking to? Who is this message designed to hit? Okay? I was watching on the I was watching The Voice on the computer, and a Viagra commercial came on. Right? And the first thing they do is they have a man with silver hair who's looking healthy, right? And then they have this beautiful woman, like seducing. And I went, my wife's already pregnant. I don't need your crap, but they were talking to me. I'm 40 years old, right? They had an image of a guy like in his like late 40s. You know what I mean? And so immediately though, I knew exactly who they were talking to, right? My wife was like, why would they put this on here? I'm like, for guys like me, like that's a problem that guys have, right? So the first thing to do is identify the audience. Number 1, identify your audience. Who are you talking to? Who do you want to pay attention to your stuff? The easiest way that I have found is to directly identify. This is something I use. I don't know that a lot of other people use it. I use it. It's called direct identification, where I just put at the top in big bold letters, attention mommies, please read. That's direct identification. If I were to make a post, even as a man, if I were to make a post, right, and I said, attention, ladies over 50, please read. I'm doing some research for my mom and would like your help. How many women over 50 would stop to read that? Okay? So identify the audience. Number 2 is this: identify the problems that audience faces. Okay? I'm just going to go with the Viagra example because we're already in it. All right? They identified the audience, right? 50-year-old men. The next thing they do is, are you feeling unworthy? Are you feeling, right? Like, are you feeling incapable? Are you? That's how, but I'm telling you, they follow the same plan. Anytime you watch a commercial now, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what Tommy told us. Okay? Identify the problems. So whatever your target audience is, because you are them, you know what problems they face. What problems did you have as a mom? What problems did you have losing your baby weight? What is it? Problems. Here's the list of problems that people typically face: time, money, self-doubt. These are just coming off the top of my head. Those are 3 biggies, right? Like that self-worth feeling like crap about themselves, that negative self-talk, right? Feeling broke on money. That's a big one. Time, they're pressed for time. They're so freaking busy. They don't have time to work out. They don't have time, right? No time. Aging, feeling older, body aches, sickness, those types of things. Okay. Any of that you can relate to would be great. So I would identify the audience and say, listen, I know how it is as a mom. I know how busy it is and how pressed for time you all are. And I know that it's easy to lose yourself when you have little kids running around pulling at your pants all day long, asking for something. And a husband who's gone 24/7 because he's trying to pay the bills. I know what that feels like, right? So because I felt that way too. So there's like this connector. So identify the problems, whatever those problems are. You know the problems because they're you. So when I speak to obesity, I say, listen, I know what it's like to sit on the couch feeling ashamed of who you are and living in a cave because you're embarrassed to even go to the party. I know how it is to walk in your closet and be pissed off at your clothes because nothing fits and you feel fat and everything. I know how it is to struggle for years and years and play the twisted mind game with yourself. Like, you know you need to do something, yet anytime you get started, you always fall off the wagon and you always gain it back, right? I know how that feels. I know how it feels to sit on the couch and put a pillow over your stomach because you're hiding your fat. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be the biggest person in the room. And it's not good. Thankfully, I found a program in a company that actually worked for me, and didn't just work for me for 3 months. It worked for me for a long time, right? So that's number 3. Number 3 is this: present the solution. What is the solution to their problem? Present the solution. Typically, you can wrap that into your story or the story of somebody else. Any story. Write this down. Facts tell, story sell. All right? Facts tell, story sell. So we can sit there and say, that's why I love Shakeology. It's got 72 this and 72 that and 72, right? It makes you fart for a week when you first start taking it because you're not used to it. And, but you'll go poop every day. It's great, And the vanilla tastes like, I'm not a big vanilla fan, and I don't have any qualms saying that. Like, I drink vanilla, and I'm like, what is this? Oh, like, no way. Seriously. Chocolate, I'll chug. Like, chocolate's gone in 4 seconds. I'll drink 16 of those a day. I don't care. Tropical vegan, love it. Greenberry, I'm okay with. I can drink it, but I don't prefer it. Vanilla, that thing comes in my house, I'm kicking it out. That's how I feel. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Some people love it. But the point is this: present the solution. You know what the solution is. What was the solution for you? What was it about doing this that helped you through those same problems that they are experiencing? Solve their problem and offer to be a friend to them in that. That's all you got to do. All right? Number 4 is this. And wrap that around stories. You guys got that. Number 4 is this. The fourth part, the last part is this: a call to action. We have to ask them to do something after they read this, after they see this. If you follow these same 4 steps, it doesn't matter if it's face-to-face and you're presenting. It's the same thing I would verbally say to somebody is, listen, I understand what it's like to be super busy and blah, 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 blah. That's why I fell in love with Beachbody. So I don't know if you're interested or not, but why don't I go ahead and just send you some information? Would you check it out? That's the call to action. I'm asking them a question. I want them, can I get your information so I can send you something? Okay. So a call to action on Facebook might just be privately message me so I can walk you through the interview process. It's a way of putting it. Okay. Click like and drop your email in the comments below, and I'll be in touch within 24 hours. That's a call to action. You're giving them a specific action. What do they need to do if they're interested in knowing more, in joining up, whatever that is? So you could say, listen, if you're interested in knowing more, send me a private message. I'll be returning those later tonight at 9 p.m. Or you could say, to me, you're going to get more people engaged in a conversation if you say, if you're interested in knowing more. And because it's a non-committal response, okay? If you say, if you're ready to join, here's the thing. They probably don't have enough information yet to say yes and put their money on the line, unless they're really, really at the point of making a decision. But you're going to get more. All we want to do is filter people into the conversation. So the less commitment we ask for them right then, the more people we get on the list of prospects. And then when we learn to work those people, okay, You guys understand that? So call to action. So here's what I want you guys to do. All right. Because I gave you a lot tonight. This is not all, like, you're not going to be a master at this overnight. All right. Even if all you do at this point is figure out how to craft a great promotional message, right? You're probably going to have more success than before. Even if all you do is take the last thing we talked about, even if all you do is take a power hour and follow that power of 3, and you have more faith in the reasons why we're asking you to do those things. We're not asking you to do that to waste your time. We're asking that so that you are more likely to connect with people. Does that make sense? And it's all about human connection, this thing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you guys, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I want you to craft, I want you to, first of all, you're going to craft your own promotional message, your own hook message, and you're going to share it with the team before you put it on your page, okay? I want you guys to, in that message, I want you to identify what your target audience is. Because here's what we're going to do. The leaders of this, we're going to read through it. And what I want everyone else to do is say, okay, if I was a person seeing that, would I be likely to reply to this person? Would I be likely to do the call to action at the end if I read this? Okay? Because I think once you understand the process we walk people through to get them to take an action, once you figure that out, then the sky's the limit. You can do it all the time. Once you learn the art of promotion, you can do it all the time. So with that said, that's all I had. Do you guys have questions? Because I have another 10 minutes before I have to be on ramp. Anybody have questions? Confused? Because that's a lot of stuff, honestly. All right?
Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
You guys, I just want to say, you guys ask questions, because this is a perfect opportunity and a perfect setting. And I guarantee you, if you got a question, somebody else has probably got the same question. So don't be afraid to ask. Really speak up.
Hey.
Hey.
Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte.
I'm wondering, okay, when I craft this, can I target all 3 groups of people in the same message?
It depends on how closely related they are. You know what I mean?
So as we're going through this, I picked, you know, of course, mommies. I have a toddler. I have a 3-year-old.
Okay.
So,
right.
And then people that want to start incorporating more natural things into their life, period.
Okay.
Whether it's diet or product.
Right.
Okay, I'm talking and they can hear me now. Quiet, please. Sorry.
No problem.
And then the third one was healthy eating.
Okay. So, yeah, I would, here's what I would do. I would speak to the broadest one, right? The broadest one, which is mommies. Okay. Does that make sense? I would talk to mommies. And then what I would do is sort of in that message, I would also whittle it into, listen, I don't know if you're a mom who has been interested in learning more, doing more with healthy, natural eating or natural stuff, right? So what you're going to do is, like, to me, the other 2 that you said are kind of sub identifiers. So what you're doing is what you're doing is you're taking a broader scope of mommies and you're whittling it down and clearing out some clutter. Does that make sense? So yeah, you could put all 3 of those in, but I would start with mommies. That's the biggest part of the funnel, right? And
maybe
then I would
tie family in.
Yeah.
You know, healthy eating for the whole fam.
Yeah. So listen, I don't know how your family has chosen to live. And if any part of you thinks that, you know, I don't know if you're eating out of boxes and ordering pizzas, and you know in your heart that something needs to change and you need to get to a better way of healthier eating. If so, you know, I've been blessed to find a program that has helped me do that. Help me make that change, help me make that shift, right? And has helped thousands of people as well. You know, if that's something that identifies with you, please. And I'm just, obviously, I would sit down and I would think that through and craft it. So I would put thought into the post, right? But hopefully you understand the direction I would take it, you know, which is I'm talking to mommies. I would identify the problems they have. And then I would talk about the solution. I would present healthy living, you know, as a solution to the mommies. The other thing is, you know, because the other thing is, like, people who are already in the healthy eating world, right? That's a whole different message that you're going to present.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because the problems they face are different. But I would take the mommy route and then craft it into a way where you use healthy eating and use those other two categories as solutions and problems and mix it into that part of it. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else? All right. Going once. Going twice. Because here's what happens. This always happens. That's why I'd rather you just ask right now, because here's what will happen. Like 4 of you are going to message me after this. And then let me tell you something. When I'm done here, I go on to Ramp. When I'm done with Ramp, I go cuddle with my wife. I'm not going to sit up all night answering questions on Facebook, right? Does that make sense? So if you have a question, now's the time. If not, so be it. Put it in the page, and there'll be multiple of us in there that can help answer that for you. So, yes.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Hey, how was the raw honey? Did that go well?
It's going well. I mean, I heard it takes a couple of weeks to really start to work.
It was like 7 to 10 days, and then I was like, man, I have no symptoms anymore. So
I'm not gonna lie, 1 tablespoon is not enough for me because once I start eating it, I just want the whole jar. And then I have to give them some, and so.
So
I'm gonna go through 1 jar in like less than a week.
Yeah, what I do is I'll take like a piece of Ezekiel bread and I'll put some almond butter on there, and then I'll drizzle a tablespoon of honey on it and eat it that way.
Yeah, I just take a spoonful.
Yeah.
Just scoop and scoop and scoop and scoop.
So what's your question?
Okay, so my inner struggle is that I am a very private person when it comes to Facebook. I do not take friend requests easily, even from people I know.
I get that. Yeah.
So do I just need to get over it? Seriously.
Yeah.
So I just need to just say screw it and get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can put, I don't know what your hesitation is with it, if it's the children, if it's, that sort of thing, or just a private person in general. What I would tell you,
it's the kids.
It's the kids, right? So,
yeah.
So what some people do is they never use their kids' names on there. They, they say, son 1, son 2, stuff like that, or they put fewer stuff about their kids on there. But I mean, it's something where if you're going to use Facebook as a driver to your business, you got to put stuff out there, and get over it, because the thing is this: the more transparent we can be, because you're marketing yourself, you're marketing the lifestyle, and you're marketing what it's done for you, and not just you, but your family. It's not just about how good you look, but how it's helped, your entire family, all that stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you a for instance. Okay, my son, where he goes to school, we're very involved because it's a private school, and we do a lot of events with them, and we're always doing fundraising and things like that. So we post a lot on Facebook about those sorts of things. And they always say, don't put that kind of stuff out there, because you're telling people where your kids go to school. But it's like, also, we're a community about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I
just don't know how to fully separate all that.
You've got to determine what level of information you're willing to share, right? So, listen, the world's going to tell you to live in fear. This is what I'm going to tell you. The world is going to tell you to live in fear. If you go watch the news, it's going to say, don't swim in the ocean, you might get bit by a shark. Don't walk down the street. A boogeyman might jump out and friggin' hold a knife to your throat and take your $7 that you got left, So, I mean, if you listen to what the world says, it's all fear-based, right? And listen, I got a lot of deep emotions about that too, is that. So I get people all the time that, we'll travel and they're like, you shouldn't tell people when you're traveling. People will break into your house. Well, listen, I've been doing it for 7 years. Nobody broke in my damn house yet. And listen, I'd rather them break in when I'm gone than when I'm here.
True.
I mean, shit, then they can't hurt me, so it's all in perception. You know what I mean? It's all in perception. So, I mean, you could, you don't necessarily have to share like the exact location of the school or even the name of the school. You could just speak in general terms. Was so excited to be at the school today. Was so excited that my son got to participate in X, Y, and Z events. You see what I'm saying? Without naming the school or naming where it's at, you know, and
Okay, so for previous posts, which have been there for years,
yeah.
if people get nosy enough and they start digging, does anyone know if there's like a Facebook block that you can block previous posts?
I don't know.
Or
I don't know. You'd have to research that, honestly.
no?
I couldn't tell you. That's something I don't know. I mean, I would research that and see if there's something out there, if that's something you want to do. I mean, obviously you have to determine what you're willing to do and what you're willing to not. All I can tell you is this, that by not adding people and not sharing, you're limiting the number of people you can help and limiting how big your business can grow. So you got to weigh that. I think there's a way for you to do it that you will consider that you're still protecting your children from nutsos. You know what I mean? Because you know, you could do it where you're sharing general information and it's not specific information, as far as just talking general terms, you know. I guess would be, you know, like if I say, hey, I'm taking my daughter to the park, that's a lot different than saying, hey, we're going to be at Treetop Park on University Drive. Make sense?
True. Yes.
You know? So
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I understand the concern, though. I mean, I think about that too. Like every time I'll put a picture of Adeline up, and I'm like, I know there's some perv out there that's like, you know what I mean? Like there's crazies out there. But I also believe this. I believe that, you know, our culture has.
You muted yourself.
Yeah.
You muted yourself, Tommy. Stop. He totally muted himself. Thought he did it on purpose.
Muted. There you go.
I got it. Oh, I don't even know where my thing is now. Oh, geez, this is a mess. Oh, there it is. It showed up. I don't like to get into politics. I'm not very political, to be honest with you. But I do think this. I think that our culture and media has formed us to live in fear, and that a fearful people are easier to control, right? And so that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different conversation, okay? You know, I understand protecting your children. I truly do. And I think there's a way that you could do it with being open without being so open that people know specifically where to find your kids. You know what I mean? Or to target them. So, you know, and I'm not saying that, you know, and you can make it so only your friends can see it. Now, I have my page totally open. Totally open. I want friends of friends of friends to see my stuff because I want them to, you know what I'm saying? I have my stuff totally open. You've got to determine what level of privacy you want to set on your page. But if you ask Chalene Johnson, she's a social media guru, she says totally open. You know, the more people can see it, but now we're only talking about from a business perspective. So I understand there's a teeter-totter balance here, you know. So anyway, I love you guys. I got to get on this other call. I appreciate your time. Hopefully, did you guys get something out of tonight? Yes? Yeah, something. Okay. If it was overwhelming to you, I do apologize. But at the same time, it's like, even if you just leave here and go, okay, obviously I need to know more about this. I don't need to know all of that, but I need to know a little bit more so I can get a little bit better there. I just dumped out to you the basics of what I know, and I'm not even a guru. I don't know it all. So I appreciate your time. We got one more week, one more meeting. You've got 13 more days to get it to Emerald, make successful, do all that stuff, to get into Ramp, which is the next group, okay? And that's where we talk more about team building. So next week's going to be the wrap-up call. That's going to be the last meeting that I have with you guys, and that's going to be your basis group. It's going to be in and out. You're done. You know, it doesn't mean that we're not friends. It doesn't mean that you know, you disappeared to me, okay? But I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort into getting here tonight, and we'll see you in the page. If you have questions about the stuff, write your promotional post, post it in the page. We'll review it. I'm looking forward to that. I'll talk to you guys later.